My tongue is blue, which is thematic because I'm going to talk to you about blueberries, aka bloobs, aka bluebies. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jacie and today I want to talk to you about carnivore versus animal-based. So for those who are unfamiliar with my journey and the fact that I've been a carnivore for the past 4 years, all of that is true. Once I got CIRS, I had some struggles with staying carnivore. One, because I started developing histamine reactions to beef, but also two, because I discovered that a lot of people with CIRS have something called hypometabolism, meaning it's really hard for them to convert protein into glucose. Your body does need glucose. You don't have to eat carbs to get that glucose, but your brain needs glucose. So what happens is your liver converts protein into glucose for your brain. For people with CIRS, that process can be really taxing. Hypometabolism means that you have trouble producing energy in a lactic acid environment, and you can just feel really fatigued eating a low-carb diet if you have CIRS and are experiencing hypometabolism. My philosophy in life is kind of to experiment with myself as much as I can before I die and donate my body to science. Through this process of CIRS and CIRS treatment and trying to figure out what my body needs in terms of nutrition and energy, I've done a few different experiments, and so I wanted to talk about those with you today. First of all, I can't start without saying that I think carnivore is a really powerful elimination diet. It helps you to kind of eliminate all of the excess noise in your nutritional strategy, especially if you're someone who is very histaminic, very reactive. It can be really helpful to remove all of the excess plant toxins and really get down to just eating meat and salt so that you can see what your body is reacting to if you want to add things back. Keto, which is a diet strategy focused on macronutrient ratios, is typically 80% fat, 20% protein for those in the carnivore space because they're not eating any carbs. And ketogenic diets have been shown to be really helpful for helping to lower inflammation. It's also therapeutic for disorders like epilepsy and has even some efficacy in helping reduce the growth of cancerous tumors. So carnivore and keto are both strategies that you could apply towards your CIRS healing journey. If you are someone who is experiencing hypometabolism though, it may be helpful to take a slightly different approach. For me, the longer I have CIRS and work with CIRS patients, I start seeing CIRS everywhere. You know, once you find your thing, it's hard not to see your thing everywhere. It's like if someone were to say Prius, then all you see is Priuses on the road, right? But with that philosophy in mind, if you think that some of these nutrition influencers who came from a place of dishealth or unhealth and have found a nutritional strategy that helps them feel better, if you kind of think they might have CIRS and have stumbled upon a way of eating that helps them manage that, you can kind of cherry pick the different nutritional strategies you see out there to see what might work for you. All to say, I started animal-based, which is a dietary approach kind of inspired by Paul Saladino. He has a macro calculator online, and that's what I've been using to determine my macros. I kind of stumbled into this way of eating because I started incorporating a small amount of carbs, like 20 grams of carbs a day, through blueberries. And I found it really helpful. My energy was a lot better. I found my mood was a lot more stable. It was just easier for me to exist on a day-to-day basis and to heal. Now I'm taking more of an animal-based approach, meaning that I am eating a significant amount of carbs every day. I'm no longer in ketosis, and it has been a game changer for my energy levels. One really practical way that I can exemplify this is that my T3 hormone was at 1.9 prior to starting animal-based, and after adopting an animal-based diet and incorporating some sea kelp iodine supplementation, I was able to get that number up to 3.3. I just wanted to pop in to say I do take a very specific approach to the way that I do animal-based. I try to eat my protein first, then my fat, and then any carbs. This has been shown to reduce the glucose spike by up to 25%. It just helps to not have that huge glucose spike 3 times a day, after each meal, by eating in that order. I hope that makes sense. All to say, I don't know what dietary approach is going to be best for you and your unique circumstances, your healing journey with CIRS. All I can say is that I myself and other people in the CIRS group, which is a community of people who are healing from CIRS that I co-founded with my bestie Barbara when we were both diagnosed at the same time, and we were like, other people need this level of support, we need to create a community. That's what the CIRS group was created for, and we've seen other members in the group also do better with a higher amount of carbs incorporated into their diet. Now, an important note about CIRS nutrition is you do want to try to go for low amylose carbs, and you do want to go for low mold foods. Now, I am not very binary about this. For example, I drink coffee and it's unknown mold source. Personally, coffee contributes enough to my well-being and my life satisfaction that it's worth it to me. But if you are someone who's super sensitive, you're super reactive, or you're just struggling to heal, it might make sense to take a more strict approach. I understand this might be a frustrating conversation for some people because I'm basically saying you have to figure out what works for you, but I hope by sharing what worked well for me and what I've seen work well for others could be helpful, could be inspirational, or motivating to you to look at other factors in your diet. So now that I've kind of talked to you about, carnivore, keto, and then animal-based, I did also want to talk to you about some of the experiments I ran in incorporating carbs, like the format of incorporating carbs. So for one, I tried adding 20 grams of carbs a day in the form of blueberries. And it was almost like my body was flipping between ketosis and running on glucose for energy, and it was very taxing. I just felt really drained all of the time. I also tried incorporating like one big bolus of carbs once a week, and I would feel good for like the first 3 or 4 days, but then I could tell it was kind of flagging towards the end of the week before I had the next bolus. I also tried the croissant diet, which was a diet developed by the Fire and Kettle guy. I'll go ahead and leave his website down below. But basically the idea was to leverage the insulin pathways by eating a certain amount of carbs and eating it with a lot of butter so that you could kind of shove the stearic acid from the butter into the cells. I liked that diet. I like croissants. However, I do feel like the gluten was negatively impacting me. If I did that experiment again, I would try a low amylose carb with the butter instead. At this point in my CIRS journey, I am 100% symptom free. I'm still on the VIP spray, the step that helps you recover the volume loss in the brain from the chronic inflammation. And I'm still on some supplement supports like fish oil, DHEA, iodine, and B vitamins. I also take NAC and acetylcysteine because spike protein was one of my biotoxins, and I actually just got COVID, so if I sound a little breathless, that's probably why. But I take NAC 1,000 milligrams every night as kind of a maintenance to the spike protein damage. Other than that though, I feel really good and my energy levels are really consistent day to day. It's been a really nice change to kind of be able to wake up and have an expectation of how I'm going to be feeling that day. That was one of the hardest things for me when I was like really sick in my CIRS treatment, because I never knew if I was going to wake up feeling 10% or 100%. It's really difficult to pace life stuff to that inconsistent energy level. So again, definitely not telling you what you should do. I do think we're very bio-individual. We all have different health histories and we all have different goals with our health. And so it can be really hard to be very prescriptive in terms of telling someone what they should eat. My goal here is to be descriptive and just share with you some of the things I've done and some of the things that have worked for me. I see myself continuing the animal-based path until I stop seeing the results that I want to achieve. And I think next, if I were to plateau, essentially, I would go into more of like a cyclical carnivore diet where at times I am fully carnivore, fully in ketosis, and then at other times I incorporate carbs back, and maybe that has to do with like performance goals as I start weightlifting again. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this was helpful. I hope it gives you some options in terms of maybe your nutritional approach to healing from CIRS. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Okay, bye.